Greetings, everyone. This is Roger Jahnke and Rebecca McLean, and we are greeting you for the powerful, powerful moment in a year called the winter solstice, which is a portal to the mythology on what is the winter solstice. It's so powerful. We'll start with a couple of deep breaths, and I'm going to ring this gong. And so take a moment to, with purpose and intent, disassociate from everything from before and even everything that could be, and just settle into this moment, deep, quiet reflection. Deep and slow and relaxed the breath. In, deep, out, slow. Disconnect from the past. Disconnect from the future. Settle in to this moment. And imagine yourself just being washed through with energies that are not local. They are universal, cosmic, if you will. And that the nature of these energies in this season are auspicious, profound, healing, renewing. So allow me to just say a few things about personal view. Been thinking about the winter solstice for years and years and years and years, and I love this season when the sun rises late, and it's easy to go and see the sun rise because it rises late in the day. And of course, the days are shorter, much shorter, which really gets our attention. And the season is almost always traditionally thought of as a time for reflection, celebration. I mean, let's just think about it for a moment. Why were people celebrating the winter solstice for thousands and thousands of years? The humans have been humans for 1,000,000 years. So when did they figure out that there was a longest day and a shortest day? Probably was many, many more than 5,000 or 10,000. It was probably more like 30,000 or 100,000 years ago. And why would we celebrate? Well, the days get shorter, the food supply, unless you're living in Polynesia, runs out. The leaves have fallen off all the trees. It looks like the trees are dying. It's almost like the end. It's like the end. We might panic and think, oh my gosh, it's the end of our lives. But then there are keepers of wisdom who say, no, don't worry, because there's going to be a very, very short day, and then the days are going to get longer, and the snow will turn to rain, and the seeds that have been gathering celestial influences for the period of the winter are going to burst forward, and the root is going to just penetrate towards the earth or the yin, and the sprout is going to reach towards the sky or the yang, and life will be transformed, and we'll be in a new cycle, and we will be transformed by the process of using the winter to make soup, sit by the fire, have longer conversations with good friends, and which we hope you will be doing. And to reconsider, like, well, what were the wins? What were the losses? What do we need to give up? What do we need to celebrate? What can we look forward to? How can we hold certain intentions to be looking forward. So I'm thrilled to be here with my favorite buddy, who is a wizard of celebration and ritual, and a coach to coaches. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about, or take us through even some thoughts and some activities. Rebecca.
Thank you, Roger. Well, thank you for joining us. And I really love this time of year because everything in our culture is doing, going very yang, but everything in nature is going in. It's not producing. As Roger was saying, the seed is resting and absorbing chi and cosmic forces. So this time of year for me is taking the time to really pause in all the busyness of holiday and to do an inner reflection and tune into yourself. And I always see this time of year, as solstice, is a time of letting go and receiving light. We're in a portal of light that's opening up for us as a perfect opportunity to release that doesn't serve us, and to open up to the light that what do we want to have light infuse in our life, what our bodies, our health, our relationships, our flourishing, and whatever it is we want to flourish in. So a ritual that I like to do is write down. I didn't write it down yet because I'm going to do that later today, but I write down the things that I want to release, any resentments I'm holding, self-judgments, self-talk that is, unkind and unsupportive, things I'm holding about situations, the world, politics, people that I feel like maybe I'm holding some energy with, that it's time to let it go, because I want to create the space for the new year. And there's no space if I'm already full. So I just take some of these things or write them down, just let it take some time to reflect about what you want to offer up, let go of, release. And then taking that piece of paper, if you have a fireplace, you can put it in your fireplace and burn it.
Or burn it in your bowl.
Or burn it in a bowl. Or if you're don't have one, you can put it outside.
Put it in your compost pile.
Yeah, your compost pile, you can rip it up. But these, again, the things that we're holding energetically, because we want to have the capacity to really live into who we truly are, and not be vibrating or resonating with things that are heavy or stagnant or old or bringing us down. And I sent a PDF. It's called Mining the Gold. And that is a process for reflecting on your year and to really see the things that really happened for you in that year, and to pause and really tune in and write. And the writing process, writing brings up the subconscious. It's the heart channel that goes down through the hand. So by writing it, you're kind of emptying your heart or opening your heart. And to really take that time to mine the gold, all the treasures that came out of maybe some really hard things and challenges. And I know a lot of people gone through a lot of loss and challenges this year, but also there's so many victories of your soul. And your soul is right on track, no matter what you think. No matter what you judge, you're perfect, you're whole, you're complete now. You don't need to improve anything. You're already there. You've already arrived. And I hope this next year is a real recognition of that. And the way I feel we really recognize that is by taking the time to go inward and really get into that still place. Even if things are spinning around us, there's a still place. And to really honor yourself, your spirit, who you truly are, who you are on many dimensions. You're not just this little human running around, but you are connected to source. So there's a PDF again that you can fill out for the end of the year that it talks about some of your victories, some of the things you've gone through. Sometimes we need the time to just process what's going on, what's happened for us in the year. We need to hold our heart and just be with whatever surfaces, to allow whatever that is to be there with compassion and grace and love, unconditional love for ourselves and for all beings. You sure need it. And then to start creating your intentions from that clearer space, and to take all the wisdom, beauty, effort, the inner work, the outer work that you've done last year, to infuse your new year intentions, that seed that right now it just needs to rest and absorb energy. There's nothing to do. This time of year is not about doing. It's the highest point of yin, which is inner, the void, the quiet, the spaciousness where everything is created. So I'd love to go into like a practice to...
Before we do, what about, would you be willing, I would, to just say a little something about, you know, what you're, I mean, maybe not too super revealing, but something that you're considering, you know, letting go of or accepting, and, you know, what you might be aspiring to.
Well, my intention is to experience as much unconditional love and grace for myself and for all beings as much as possible. And really being, my focus is consciousness, as bringing that wholeness. You know, I take my humanness with its limitations and judgments and egotistical motivations, and I put that together with my spirit, which is whole, pure, unlimited, already free. Everything's there, and put them together. So whatever I'm doing, instead of doing these separate things, like, oh, now I'm tuning into my spirit, now I'm over here, you know, running around and with my fear and my stories, and that I infuse them so that I'm feeling that connection with source. It's one, no duality. It's not good, not bad. And doing and living my life from more of a being state, conscious, present, and then seeing what arises from there. And I always like to talk about listening to your nose, your KNOW, your now. In the word know is now and know, and then just moving to the next yes. Just moving to the next yes. That's all I have to do, is listen to the nose, the knowing, the now. Sometimes a no creates the opening for what is truly a yes for me, in my body, in my soul, in my heart. So that's
perfect. And for me, I'm just so aware of how human we are, and the you know, the earlier life distresses, you know, sometimes called traumas, that call us to be reactive in ways that when we look back later, we think, what? You know, I thought I was more oriented than that. And, you know, and there's some regret that settles in from presumptions, assumptions that I may have made or that others may have made. And I just can see the see and feel just the humanness of the condition, the part of ourselves that, you know, is just caught in being, you know, what we in our highest self would call limited or reactive. And so I'm just looking back on this last year of all of that kind of thing that I've experienced in myself and that I've experienced in others. And I'm just bringing empathy and compassion to myself and to others, and because I know that we're all cultivating, every one of these experiences that we have, and then reflect on and recognize as like a oops, becomes another handful of compost that we're putting onto this little plant of ourselves to nourish it, to grow and produce the most beautiful fruit possible. And so I'm kind of, that's my letting go side, and my aspiration side is really, well, I've just really become totally engaged in this whole idea that the world will do what it does. And of course, I'm a part of the world. And there's one part of my conceptual thinking that says I'm the whole world in some kind of transcendental way that's almost impossible to understand or calculate. And I've got this really interesting idea that it's been sort of lingering for years, but it's kind of formulated itself into this phrase: everything that you can imagine, and even everything that you can't imagine, is all happening now. And when I say that to myself, I think that, well, wow, that is just so overwhelmingly profound that it almost feels like there's nothing wrong, because everything that I think, think is right is happening, and everything that I think is wrong is happening, and everything that I can't even imagine is happening now. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. So let's do a little practice just for a few moments. And, as we close out our time together, you can do this practice as much as you want, or you can think, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired. I want to go do my Qigong, my Tai Chi, my yoga. I want to do my meditation, whatever it is that you wish to do. But together, right now, let's just do this a few times. The movement goes like this: you open and you close. And I'm going to invite you to decide when you want to take a deep breath, or if you want to take a deep breath here, if you want to take a deep breath here, however you want to do it. So it's open, as if you're filling yourself and expanding. Then bring your hands just a little bit more together and turn them forward, as if you're giving something to someone or offering something to someone, or also letting something go or offering it up to spirit. And then gathering from whatever you like to think of that, and bathe yourself. So you could bathe yourself in forgiveness, self-forgiveness. You could bathe yourself in the forgiveness of God and the cosmos, or you can bathe yourself in anything, or infuse yourself with your positive vision for 2020. Here we go. Expanding, filling, turn palms forward, releasing, offering up, then gathering from the field of all possibilities and bathe yourself in some kind of renewing resources, God's love, cosmic resources, universal healing energies. Let's do it 2 more times, expanding. Turn palms forward, offering, releasing. Gathering, infusing, bathing. One more time. And this time, as your hands are coming to your face, think to yourself, very slowly passing your face, see if you can imagine or even feel the energy going into your eyes. And then bring your hands around by your ears and imagine infusing your hearing mechanism and the brain, of course, which is in behind your eyes and between your ears, and then back to your cheeks, and imagine that you're sending healing energies to your thyroid gland and your heart and your lungs and your thymus gland and your diaphragm, and then your kidneys in the back, and your liver and spleen and pancreas and gallbladder, and then down below your large and small intestine, your bladder and your reproductive organs, and then just allow your hands to come to rest in your lap for a big deep breath. And then let's go back to prayer hands. You know, Rebecca said one hand being the practical, the other hand being the transcendental, the relative and the absolute, the past and the future. Many blessings.
Infinite blessings of grace and self-compassion and love and fulfillment, and ushering in this new year with so much source power infusing you. Thank you for joining us. Solstice blessings, holy day blessings.
Peace to all.